contacted me from this online community, which is a desert. But via email, and I was writing. I used to be good in an emergency, and while I was writing that, a woman came to my kitchen window, and she's just bawling, crying, hysterical, and I'm aware that she lives in a neighboring building. I'm aware that they put in, I don't know if it's a legal apartment, I don't know, but there's an apartment. And I want to be wrong, but I've always had kind of a feeling like there's something off. Well, there had been a stray cat around here. And over the many years, John and I, there's an animal hospital across the road, and in our county, there was no animal shelter. And so over many years, there's an animal shelter in a neighboring county, but it costs money to abandon an animal. So what happened over many years is, and it's mostly cats, people will just dump them in the parking lot of the animal hospital across the road. Now the veterinarians at the animal hospital are very lovely, the employees, all very lovely people. And we grew to know them because over all these years, we rescued so many animals, spayed and neutered them, fed them. Now, we never took them in our home. Cats and upholstery just don't mix. And they're wild many times, or they've gone feral, and they claw, they scratch, they spray. So they had to winter outside, and I built, and John directed, but I built, cat houses, and we put heaters in them, and we would try to give them as good a life as we could if we couldn't find them homes. The last one died by being hit on the road right at the time when John's immunity from chemotherapy fell to such a degree that he could no longer be around, especially cats. There's a thing called toxoplasmosis. It's connected to that Wall Street guy that jacked up the price of that drug. It affected cancer patients. It affected people, all sorts of people with immunity problems, but it affected cancer patients. The cost went from $13.50 a tablet to $750 a tablet overnight. So apparently the trial is still going on. Anyhow, sorry about the tangent. So it was sad when BB died, but it was, I guess in a way meant to be, because he was not going to be able to be around. And if I was around, I would have to get all sterilized before I came in contact with John, and so it was sad, and we cremated BB, and his ashes are here at our home. But after John died, a cat started to come around. Another cat dropped off. And so it's winter, and I did what John would have done. It won't let me get near it. Every time I get near it, it would claw at me. And it sprays things, and it's a calico, which I think we worked out that all calicos are female, but I started buying food, put a little food out for it. Well, apparently this woman who's crying has also been feeding it, but more than feeding it, she's bonded with it, and she had been taking it inside every night. I never knew where it was going. I made a little cat house for it, but she had bonded with it, and she's just in tears because she says, "Oh, the cat it's so sick, and I don't want to let it out." And I had mentioned to her the day before, just go across the road and mention our name. They'll be very kind to you. Plus, she said she was on a very strict income, and I said, well, so am I. But, well, that was in my head, I guess. But I said, just tell them that. There's organizations that will help. But also cats have very strong immunities. They can get over quite a lot. So maybe just wait. But she's hysterical and asked me, she said she'd been over and she didn't understand what they were saying to her. And anyhow, I called for her. I said, well, let me call. And I got a member of the staff that we had met before, and we know everybody over there. And in fact, I went to the same university as Laura. Although we didn't know it, there was like 25,000 other students between us, But I'm sure at I was in a fraternity, I'm sure at some point I probably served her a beer in a red cup. But we didn't know it. But there was a veterinarian department at the university I attended. Anyhow, so I said that her situation, that she's very worried, and I said, I can't get near this animal, but she's been taking care of it, and she's named it, and she takes it inside. She's got a cat carrier. Can she bring it over? And then can you work with her on payment? Or connect her with an organization we're aware of. Actually, an organization that the artist that painted that painting later created. They help in a situation like this. And so I said, well, I'll be happy to make an introduction for her later, but right now she's hysterical. And she's saying she can't lose the cat because she's lost so many family members and she just can't have another loss. And that pulled at my heart, and I said, well, of course I'll make a call for you. I made the call and said, go, take her over. They'll fit her in when they can because they were quite busy. Well, I go to the mailbox the next day, and there's a full bill in my name for this cat, for expecting me to pay for it. So I want to believe some sort of mistake happened, but I think I'm being taken advantage of because of our heart, John and my heart. There's the saying, no good deed goes unpunished, but also that I don't want to think it, but maybe she senses a weak and vulnerable person. And so I wrote very clearly on the bill that I, in no way, I'd be happy to help her make an introduction to a financial assistance group, but in no way am I responsible for this cat. We did our part. We rescued dozens of cats, particularly dumped off here. So no, this is not my cat. I would have been happy to observe the cat, but I was trying to help out a crying woman at my kitchen window who's hysterical, and I don't know. And so no, I will not be paying this bill. If you need help, me making an introduction to the person who does the animal welfare charity, I guess I could help do that, but no, I'm not aware of what you were told, but this is not John and my cat. This is not our cat. So, it's a feral cat, and she had bonded with it, taken it in her house, petting it, sleeping with it. That's our cat. It's yours now. You've decided it's your cat. You're so emotional that you're telling me you can't, you're in a panic because if this cat were to die on you and you'd be all alone. And you're also aware that I have recently lost my husband. And you're comparing that death of a cat, and I bit my tongue and I did the best I could as a human being for another human being in tears and hysteria. And I don't like thinking what must have happened. But somehow, I'm being saddled with the bill. And it's not inexpensive. And so I made it clear, no. Just flat out no. So my guard is still there. I'm vulnerable, but I will not be taken advantage of. And I hate to think it. Your instincts. Your instincts say, I'm a little suspicious of this person. They behave a little. Stories don't match up. And I've had very few encounters with this person. But I don't trust her. And I really don't trust her. So that's her cat. I'm not putting out food for any more cats. We did our bit. We did it. Many cats. We did it. And with our beloved neighbors at the animal hospital, they helped us spay and neuter many cats. We did our bit. This is not my responsibility. This is not John and my responsibility. I tried to help. And I'm easily confused. I really thought I was clear on the phone. I felt like they understood that I'm calling on behalf of this neighbor of ours who's in tears and is desperately worried about the welfare of her cat. So I'm a little disappointed in humanity. I get phone calls if people are aware that my husband died, where they're, threatening, like, for credit cards we don't have, our software programs we don't have, you're at risk. This is your last chance. Almost like collection agency kind of language, and using language that they're aware of my husband's death and how it's all lies. It's all scare tactics to take advantage of the most vulnerable of us. I find that just despicable. So I really don't want to think it. This crude apartment that's in a neighboring commercial building that's not so far away. One of the things that was so attractive about this house is there are no houses near it. There's a commercial building near it. There's a church and grocery warehousey kind of food banky thing on the other side of it, but there's no houses. But apparently someone's living in the building, this commercial building, and this person has seemed pleasant enough. I had her in for coffee once. I don't even like coffee. But I knew I needed to stay up, and I was trying to figure out how to make coffee anyhow. But I think that was the night that she had left the cat across the road. That's right. And I asked her, I said, well, what have you heard? And, oh, they're putting her on IV fluids. And I haven't really heard. And I said, well, I'm going to make some coffee. She sat at the kitchen table and didn't say a word about putting this debt in my name. So, my guard is up. I'm really saddened by this. That people see a grieving person and quickly write me in Poland. Give me all your contact information. I have a very important thing to tell you. Phone calls. Your husband owes this thing. No, he doesn't. And now this. I had a woman in tears outside the kitchen window. The house is high up, and she had rang the doorbell, and I opened the kitchen window to answer the door. And she's just hysterical. And she's, I don't know what to do. I can't have another death. I can't have another death. And it's not a husband. She hasn't never lost a husband. It's her cat. And it's not mine. It won't even let me get near it. I just tried to help it get through the winter as a feral outdoor cat. And I was happy to let nature take its course by giving it an edge, by giving it enough energy and sustenance that it might survive. And it's always kind of nice to have an outdoor cat around. They take care of mice and gophers and all sorts of vermin. But no, we do not have pet cats. We do not have indoor cats. And she does. But I haven't heard from across the road, but I wrote a letter on the bill, and I put it, because our mailboxes share the same row on the rural road. I took the bill from my mailbox, opened it. They didn't even put a stamp on it because they just stuck it in our mailbox. And I opened it, I read it, I wrote a letter on it, making it clear, no, this is not my responsibility. We love you. Don't know what you've been told, but I was trying to help a woman, a essentially a stranger who's crying, hysterical, and is desperately worried about this animal and complaining that she can't quite afford it right now. And I called on her behalf, explained her financial situation, said, "You've helped us in the past, can you work with her? Maybe see the animal and then just worry about working with her, introducing her to the right agencies later." And they said, Sure, David Wishart, because we love you and John. And we love them. But something happened for them to present me with a full bill for the care of this animal, which is not mine. I had no emergency. I know that cats can endure quite a lot. We've had a lot of experience with them. And if it were our wild cat that we were taking care of, we would have observed it. We would have observed it more before we would have panicked and said it absolutely must get some kind of care. We wouldn't be cruel like that. But we just had a lot of experience with human beings just dumping animals because it's too expensive to pay to hand them over to the animal shelter. So, in the neighboring county. So, vulnerability. I'm vulnerable, and my guard's still up. So, and if you are out there and you're taking advantage of grieving people, you are despicable people. That means you are people worthy of being despised. So, forgive me for being so forward, I guess. But I tried to help. I tried to help in an emergency. And I don't like thinking it. I want to think there was a miscommunication. I want to believe that. But my gut, and all of you know when your gut tells you something's not right. Stories don't add up. Or stories are really elaborate. And no. She's never going to come in the house again. For coffee, I'm done. I'm done. My guard is up. So, unless I get a very good explanation. But my suspicions, they say go with your gut. Yeah. My gut is still intact. I won't be taken advantage of. And the fact that people would take advantage of grieving widows and grieving widowers for their own personal financial gain is worthy of being despised. So, I want to be wrong. And I want to listen to tango music. And I miss my John very, very much. This is him. That's my sweet husband. He died recently in my arms. And I can't bring him back. but He wouldn't let me be taken advantage of. And I believe He's with me. And I believe He's protecting me. So, I want to be wrong. I'll know in a few days. Eventually I'll go see the veterinarian across the road. She's lovely. She's enduring cancer right now too. I think she's in a state of remission or a holding pattern. Her hair is growing back. And she's just one of the most lovely people you've ever met. So I don't think this would be an accounting mistake. This would have been done because of what had been said. But perhaps it's an assumption. And, assumptions get made. Okay, forgive me for going so long. But, yeah, I'm really vulnerable. And my guard is still there. And my guardian angel is my husband. And he will protect me. And we will not be taken advantage of. So, I'm sorry. I miss him. He would have handled this probably a lot more directly. But in a way where he would calm me down and remind us that we're okay and that we just need to be careful. And so I feel him telling me to be careful. And that means I'm done. I'm not going to, I'll be neighborly. But no, you go live your life. I'm going to try and live mine. But no, I am not an opportunity for you. To exploit. I tried to help. So, I want to be wrong. But when you feel it, right? You know when you feel that suspicion. It's like friend or foe, truth or fiction. You know it. So I've had that feeling. But then again, I had a person at my kitchen door who was expressing great pain and sorrow and desperation, and I did my best to try and get her the help that she felt she needed for this animal, her animal, her choice. So, no. This is not my financial responsibility. I will not be taken advantage of. John will not allow this to happen. I'm going to go back to trying to listen to my tango music to remind me of John and the beach and try to get some more work done. And I'm definitely not writing anybody emergency in Poland. Just take a look at Human Rights Watch, Poland, and their treatment of gay people. It's not so different from Russia. So, no, I'm not going to be writing them back emergency and have a private conversation. If you want to have a conversation with me through Legacy Connect, you can do it right there out in the open. So, just been surprising how many people see an obituary, see somebody grieving, and see an opportunity. So, if that's you, you are worthy of being despised. So, I want to be wrong, because I want to believe people are awesome. There's these videos on YouTube that are called People Are Awesome. And it's people doing all sorts of sports and passionate things. And we would watch those while John was so very sick. And it would reaffirm to us how people are awesome. And there's far more of us than there are despicable human beings. So focus on the happy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm still touching my face. And, sorry about that. I guess preaching. Thank you for listening. I'm David Wishart. I'm John Wishart's widower. And I miss him so very, very much.